So I think that talk point is very much that's a China-Russia talk to try to divide the American people or to like use like our success against us. It's very interesting.
I think I want to straight opinion that's the best. いいですか？いつもコントをしてください。はい。はい。あれまだ映ってないでしょ。これいやいやあれはスタートしてないでしょ。これ。あれもうスタートしてます。してます。なんだこれ切らなきゃダメだまた。まあいいや。はい。それではですね、いいですね。音も聞こえてるとは思うんですが。はい、ちょっと今終わったばかりのマシューさんに、聞いて彼がどういうあれでね、さっき話し足りなかったことがあります。重要なことなんですね。一つそういうものを2つ3つね聞きながら彼の意見を聞きたいと思います。So Matthew, thank you so much for to being a part of that interview. I would say more like not a debate, but it's a very short opinion exchange and quite
That's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah,
exchange.
Actually opinion exchange, and you have your position and opinions, and he has his own. He's been a long time politicians too, but what I don't know accused or not, but he's been sounds like America is really inequality, society of inequality. Of course, super rich people there and very poor people there. But that's why, he thinks politicians to be blamed. Maybe so. But as of a society, that the country it's really inequality society. Not nobody has the opportunity if you are poor or something. I thought you said something you're not agree with. So would you say that about that?
Well, I have several thoughts on it. The first one, as I explained, is the opportunity ladder that we have in the United States, where within one generation you can go from the lowest, what's called a quintile, to the highest quintile. It's extraordinary, and Elon Musk, who was an immigrant from South Africa, Jeff Bezos, who's adopted son of a Cuban immigrant. I think there's two prime examples, and they're two of the richest people in the world.
Let me explain to
yep.
Because we don't have a translator. I have to do. これ、非常に重要なことを言いました。彼はですね、例えばアメリカでも世界でも一番ねトップのお金持ちいますよ。イーロン・マスクね。イーロン・マスク is born in South Africa だからね、サウスアフリカからの移民なんですよね。非常に貧しい、そんなお金なかった人。ジェフ・ベゾスっていう人は、アマゾンのねトップの創業者。彼はね、キューバの移民の息子。だから非常に全然お金ないとこからね、あれまで成り上がったんですね。だから全然その貧しい一番下のねクラスの人たちが上に来る機会がないか、そんなことは全然ないんだ。
Yeah, and I also think that because we're a free and open society, that is exploited by the Chinese and the Russian interests to try to undermine and somehow, sow dissent. Because if you think about, it's not a matter of opportunities. Really, if you look at the opportunities that American citizens have right now, it's extraordinary. And anybody with hard work and kind of putting off today's desires for tomorrow's success, I think there's I can point to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, for sure millions of examples of people living the American dream. And listen, only in the United States is there an American dream. That you come from wherever you come from, whether it's within the United States or outside the United States, and you can amass again success on whatever terms you measure it. And some measure that in money, some measure it in children, some measure it in other things. But it's just really a system that's built and it provides for unlimited upside.
Let me translate. 彼は非常に重要なことを今言いましたね。結局ね、やっぱり例えばロシア、昔のソビエトとか共産国ですね、今のあるいはチャイナとかね、こういったところと全く違うのは、アメリカというのは完全にやっぱりオープンであり、民主的な社会 なっている。確かに今現実に非常に格差はあるね。所得の格差というのは大きい。ただ下の人が這い上がれるようなシステムもある。それがずっといろいろな小さなレベルで、何もジェフ・ベゾスとかね、そういうイーロン・マスクのレベルじゃなくても移民でやってきた、私もたくさん知ってますけども、小さなレストランを開いてね、成功して家族を養っているとか、そういうような人、あるいはそれよりさらに大きな成功している人、そういう人たちがいろんなレベルでいるんだよと。こういうことを言ってるわけです。So I want to switch that subject a little bit about the election, which is a lot of people interested in Trump versus DeSantis. And then I think 私はですね、トランプに対してこうしようという、Trump is not good. He is really old. He is not the one anymore for candidate for 2024. Maybe so. Versus DeSantis is a rising star. Well, no doubt about it. But he is, my belief, DeSantis is only proven in Florida, state of Florida, not nationwide. And so he's a great politician, speaker. But somebody said that on the Fox News, I agree with him. He's still debate capability of all the political influence to the people, still not the level of Trump. He is still young, and he's about 44 or 5, and then he has another one in 2024, 8. I mean, because 2024 is one. Maybe Trump is a good one. He's still, healthy. That's what he said. How do you think about it?
Yeah, so I think about it this way, is that's the nice thing about American politics is, we have a primary process. It starts in my home state of Iowa with the Iowa caucuses in February of 24, and anybody that wants to run for president, including my former boss and friend Donald Trump, will show up in Iowa, and it'll start from there, and they'll have to put together enough delegates to the convention to get the nomination and be the Republican nomination. I don't know whether Ron DeSantis is going to run or not. I certainly think he's had a lot of success in Florida. I think he's very popular. But to your point, I think he's going to have to prove to the American people and the American voter that he wants it, and that he's got what it takes to be president. And Donald Trump won an election in 2016, and 2020 came within 50,000 votes of winning re-election, and still bears down everywhere I go. He still has a significant level of popularity among Republicans and Americans generally.
彼はね、非常にやっぱりポイントついたね発言をされましたですね。結局デサントスが出る出ない、これはまだわからないけれども、この一番いい我々のね民主主義のシステムの中では、特に共和党のね予備選というか、そこにね誰でも出れるんですよと。別にトランプさんも出てる、もう出した。だけどその他の人がね誰でも出て、それで競争すればいい、こういう考え方なんですよね。だけども今まだ彼はデサントスさんは現在の段階ではね、フロリダでやっぱり非常に、知名度も政治力もある。しかしその後どのぐらいいけるか、これはまだ未知数である。これはもう私も彼もね同じ見方ですね。ちょっと3番目の質問に入りたいと思います。The third question is Florida election. Really like people, especially again, Maricopa County. It's really still going on. So mess. We know Arizona's election system is so bad. And surprisingly, so many of them been like people in not only Democrats but Republican election officials are in charge and then made mess. And somebody said that this is a McCain faction. And then McCain his own made a huge presence from Arizona. だから私が聞いたのは、アリゾナというところで今マリコパ郡で2020年に続いて大統領選に続いて今年もおかしなことが起きて、非常に不正の対応が起きている。これに対してどう思いますかね。So how do you think?
Well, I spent a lot of time. I went down. President Trump sent me down to Arizona after the 2020 election, and so I got a lot of sense of what's happening in Arizona and Maricopa County. It is beyond time for Arizona and Maricopa County to clean up their elections, full stop. Also, in addition to that, there are states like my home state of Iowa, Texas, Florida, so many others that return the results that night and again, it stands up to audit and full review. And it's time for some of these states, these outlier states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, and others that can't seem to get their act together to fix their laws, to fix their systems, and to get the election results on election night. And it's just whether, the bottom line is you can't have almost half of the electorate believe that there's fraud. You just can't. You need a system that's clean, that the elections are above reproach, that the questions are all easily answered, and we're just, again, in some of these states, we're just not there yet, and it's a shame.
彼はですね、やはり彼がいる、アイオワとか彼の州ですね、あるいはそのフロリダとかテキサスという保守州はね、やっぱり非常に選挙法もしっかりと改定したりして、その日のうち、投票日のその日のうちに、セームナイトね、同じ日に全部結果が出るようになっている。ところが民主党が、主導権を握っている、ミシガンとかね、アリゾナとかネバダとかね、こういったところで、どんどん時間を何日も何週間もかけて結果が出てこないということが起きている。で、彼はね、トランプさんに派遣されて2020年の疑惑のマリコパ郡まで行っていろんな調査をやってたんだけれども、その結果しかし何もそれほど変わることができなかった。やっぱり連邦政府がね、やっぱり州には口出しできないというところがあるんですよ。で、州のそのトップがやはりそういう腐敗にね染まっているようなところであれば、はいはいと言うだけをやっても変えない、こういうことが起きた。だから非常にね、難しい、これに関してはね、ところがあるということを、彼は言ってるわけなんですね。Okay, another one. Big wave, red wave didn't happen. And a lot of people are, analyze this and that, and because of this, because of that. My favorite people, some of them are really, some are yes, Republicans, leadership problem. Mm-hmm. And some are maybe a Trump. Some said something else, some other things. Mm-hmm. But how do you think? It's really Trump is one to be blamed. You mentioned that on a stage. That's not it. That's not the case. But something like maybe leadership, or maybe, I don't know, I've heard because of the system of Democrats has been so many pushing people to mailing vote, and then 70, sometimes 80% of people they didn't even vote, and but rather Republicans just go on a day, but sometimes a lot of people, machines broken like 30-40%. So how do you think?
On this issue, there's a whole myriad of problems. I think, in some of the states, we probably had some candidates weren't as strong as maybe they should have been. But that doesn't explain. That's only a couple, handful at the most of states. I think the issue, the Supreme Court with the Dobbs opinion coming out, certainly injected the abortion issue into an election. I think there's also the issue of early voting. We as Republicans typically push our people to the polls on election day. Democrats push their diehard people, their base to the polls early, and then focus on independent, low information voters at the end. And I think that's probably a better strategy. And if you look at what Governor Abbott did in Texas, it's a little bit Ron DeSantis and some other successful Republicans. Ron Johnson did this in Wisconsin as well. As they had a early vote strategy. An early vote strategy that I think made a difference at the end of the day.
これもね、非常に重要なこと。つまりね、今回大勝ち大勝したフロリダ州ディサントス知事とか、あるいはウィスカンシン州のねロン・ジョンソン、これも人もそうなんですが、あとテキサスのアボット知事ね、彼らはね、伝統的な共和党がやってきたその日に行って投票するだけじゃなくて、メール、つまりね、郵便投票もやりなさいということで、支持者にバンバンプッシュしたんですね。それによってもかなり非常にそういうことで、いつも民主党だけが取ってた投票を彼らも相当取れて、かなりね、大きな結果を収めた。 こういうことも必要じゃないかと、こういうことを言ってるんですよね。で、あともう一つね、My favorite Kellyanne Conway. She's great. I love her. Okay, yeah, Kellyanne Conway. And somebody like, Margot Hemingway. She's the author of Rigged. And they say kind of a similar opinion. Especially Margot Hemingway said it's really Republican didn't take care of up until the vote is going into that box, but rather,
and
Democrats.
The polls don't matter. You can't, the polls aren't going to help you win. You need to get your people and your supporters to vote for you.
Right.
Obviously, we just didn't.
だからね、これ非常にこの共和党の支持のね、中の中核のケリアン・コメンさんとか私大好きな人なんだけどね、トランプさんの中核のアドバイザー、あるいはマーゴ・ヘミングウェイ、この人もそうなんですがね、もう共和党はやっぱりね、今回作戦的にね、最後のところまで投票箱に自分たちの投票する人がね、投票するね、箱の中までいるところを見届けるところまでやんなかった。民主党はこれをやった。最後までね、民主党はもう連れてってね、もうバスで連れてってのずっとやってるんですよね。だからそういうことを言ってるということで、非常に彼はそういうことを言って、今回選挙に関しては、これでもう彼のポジションは元いわゆる司法長官の代理ですからね、アメリカの司法のもうトップにいた人なんですね。So your word is very, very important because of your formal position is chief acting secretary of the Justice Department, right? So it's not really like somebody else. And and the last question is, there are a lot of Republican people, somebody like Kevin McCarthy and some of some of the senators say we have to really go after head of FBI and Secretary of Justice, and those people are really not only only one side of very heavily politically they are acting, only go after Trump or Trump's supporters, so not even 1 inch they go after Hunter Biden, or nothing is like a law and order is happening under this administration. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. I mean, we can't have a two-tier system of justice where, the Department of Justice and the FBI go after their political opponents or the administration's political opponents. So, I mean, that's something I've, spoken out on a lot and talked almost, ad nauseum to anybody.
It happened that way?
No, I mean, I think, actually we did a really good job of being above politics and above the fray and just enforcing the laws. And I was there during the Mueller investigation, and we didn't interfere at all with that. We let it run its course. We let him find that there was no collusion with Russia and there was no relationship between the Russian government and the Trump campaign, which we all knew beforehand. And so, at the end of the day, I'm disappointed what's happening at the Department of Justice right now. I think Merrick Garland has politicized it. I think his appointment of a special counsel to handle the current investigations into Donald Trump demonstrates that politicization more than ever, because usually, it's never been used as a weapon to go after the political opponents of the sitting president. And this is the first time in American history that's happened. And I think it's a very dangerous precedent. And, I worry about that. But at the end of the day, I know there's still a lot of good people at the Department of Justice and the FBI, and I expect and know that they will do their job without fear or favor and enforce the laws, and consistent with the American traditions.
彼これ非常にこれも重要なことを言いましたね。彼は今の司法長官の前の司法長官代理だったわけですよ、トランプ大統領のね。でその彼がね、今こんなに私がした質問は、トランプさんのマララーゴっていうあそこをFBI 襲撃したわけです、15、6人でね。そして書類を全部持って帰った。それは単になぜそれをやったかというと、書類が機密書類解除になってるかならないか、それだけの理由でそんな大統領の指定をね、言った強襲かけた。これって今までねないぐらい非常に政治的な動きをやった。そしてあるいは何人もその彼の支持者たちを逮捕した、微罪でね。 それも、でち上げのみたいなもんですよ。多様性とは何でもできるから。だけどそれって非常にポリティサイズっていうんですけどね、政治的な動きをものすごく片方に民主党側に偏ったこのガーランドっていう長官、ね、いわゆる司法省とその配下にある FBI 長官をやってきた。彼がいたとき、トランプ政権でやったときね、確かにトランプ大統領に対してね、モラーとかね、FBI の長官たちが特別検査官みたいなのがやったときにね、そのトランプさんに対して、ね、非常にこういうものすごいお金をかけて調査をやったんだけど、彼らはそれに対してね、邪魔をしたことは一切ないんですよ。それで十分にやるだけやらして全くの何も出てこなかった。ずっと朝から晩まで民主党とニューヨークポスト、ワシントンポストが毎日騒いでた。何も出なかった。これが何回か起きたんですね。ロシアゲート、あるいはモラーツって長官の事件。だから2016年、2018年、そして2020年の今年は、あと2022年の今年は、何度もこういうね、非常に司法省が一方的にトランプとその支持者たちを攻撃したこと、これはね、絶対に許されるべきではない。I really am glad you said that to Japanese people because your word is very, very important, and because those questions are really so many people ask me to ask someone else who who knows that behind it, that really see the reason, right? And thank you so much, Matthew. I really appreciate.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
What's that book say?
This is my book.
Where are we going to collapse?
Administration, Afghan, EU, Russia, China, economy, inflation, vaccine passport, raising crime, and political correctness, and this and that, all that.
It's true. Okay, thank you. I like that.
Okay. Thank you so much.